Handsome gentlemen and smexy ladies, we are here. Before you is Soul Reaver Remastered 1 and 2. It is finally out, it is finally in our hands, and we can admire all the graphics, all the glory, all the features, and also magically toggle between the old and the new graphics. And my goodness, does it give me an appreciation for just how much they have done. The character models and enemies, which I will show you, is fantastic. So if you want to play with the old graphics, by all means it works. Plus you now have the proper rotating camera. You want the smexy new stuff, you got that as well. You want camera mode, that's right. If you press L3 and R3 together, you get the camera mode, zoom in, zoom out, play with the different features. It is all there. So today is an appreciation video. I thought, what would be a fun way just to celebrate this game we already know is fantastic. I don't want to bother doing a review. You know this game is fantastic. It holds up amazingly well. But now it's just the graphics, it's just the visuals. What can we get from that? And first I'm going to show you some battles with the enemies, and my goodness, the graphical improvements. But before that, have a look on the ground. See the shadow? If we toggle to the original, there was no actual shadow. There was just the typical little black circle that followed you everywhere you went, and that was about that. Now we have, as I confirmed with my original Soul Reaver Remastered breakdown video, as I confirmed in that, you have real-time actual shadows. It mimics, follows you perfectly, and it does impact the environment around you. And I have to say, things look so much better for it. So let me demonstrate that. Actually, first, let's have a look at the enemy and take advantage of the photo mode. So firstly, you're not ready for just how improved things are. The actual environment, the actual textures elsewhere, and the actual geometry, as we suspected, barely anything has been done. The actual geometry technically stays exactly the same, but of course the texture quality is immeasurably different, is improved tenfold. But what you're not ready for is just how much the enemy has been improved. So let's zoom in right here. You are not ready for just how much you are going to appreciate the improvements here after checking out the fugliness. Alright, so this is what the enemy looked like on the Dreamcast version. So if you had the PlayStation 1 version, this looked even worse. But behold, that change. Oh my goodness. Just try to get it. Oh, there we go. There we go. This this we are not talking just a texture improvement. It seems the majority of their effort went into, look at this fugly thing, look at this, it looks terrible. Look, don't get me wrong, I love the original game and I still think it holds up. Look at that square face. But you see that they grabbed this and made this. It is so loyal to the original vision and reveals so much more detail. Okay, so let's talk shadows a little bit, right? Look at this. As I approach this object, it actually climbs up the wall. It's not baked, it actually impacts, it actually climbs. And especially this bit, I think it really stands out. See, as I crawl here, when I jump to go over these, you can see my strong shadow loom over, right? It stretches out, it really grounds the experience and makes it feel so much more immersive. I suspected when I did that original breakdown video that having the shadow climb with you would really make the game look better, and it does, because look how this experience looks like when I toggle it. It feels so empty, it feels right, it feels like a natural evolution to the series. Jumping like this just feels so flat, and yet if I toggle it and jump, your shadow stretches over it, it makes it feel so much better. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to confirm that the opening pre-rendered cinematic has been redone, has been re-upscaled, and it looks phenomenal. The amount of additional detail that you can see that was not available before. Look at his shoulder pad, look at the way it shines. I wasn't aware of this before. I don't want to spoil it here, you need to watch it for yourself, but you are going to love it. Okay, this is a good spot to show off the smexiness of this upgrade. It's just amazing and do all of the kills. So firstly, combat is exactly as you remember. You have your dodge, your little sidestep. You have the attacks that you're familiar with. Now, I always love the fact that as vampires, they can't die, it doesn't matter how many times you attack them. But if you grab them and throw them into something like the sun, they will burn. They still burn, it's so cool. Let's have fun with this guy though. Being able to toggle, even in camera mode, and just really appreciate all the differences is absolutely insane. I mean, let's look at this face, which I know there's a bit of red, but look how freaking... You can barely make out there's a mouth, right? The resolution was so low, you had to be at this distance just to be able to tell it's a face. And if you got closer at all, to say it uglified was an understatement. And yet, boom, cannot compare. I couldn't even tell that there were shoulder pads there before. I couldn't tell, it was just all such a blurry mess. You could tell it was maybe shaped, but the texture, nothing. So it's incomparable. It's just such an upgrade. It looks freaking amazing. The amount of detail just so good. And what I like as well is the Soul Reaver games, they had a lot of particles, right? There was always something glowing and it always looked really cool. I really hope that they kept the original particle system from the old one into the enhanced, and it's here even when you do the newer version. It's just a bit more transparent. And Raziel, he's received such an improvement. When you look at the scarf, the details is just phenomenal. Look here, right? It's gonna try get this right. Oh, we're there. Okay, so we're right under the rib cage here, right? This this horrific angle, right? But just shows just how blurry and how undetailed and what am I even looking at, and yet you toggle. Just really makes you appreciate it. Also, if you look here at the feet, right? So before you had this, look at that flatness, just a hoof, just no detail whatsoever, and yet you toggle and you have the remodeling that just, oh, it's just amazing, right? Now let's impale this Smexy guy, right? That's what we're all here for. We're here for the impaling. So it's still bleeding, and that still looks so freaking cool. If you don't absorb the soul, it will go back in him. So num 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 num. Still disappears the way you remember. I'm so glad they kept that. Ladies and gentlemen, seems we are at the halfway point of the video. So my usual quick reminder that if you feel video games are about escapism and not activism, please subscribe right now as you're watching to help empower voices such as my own that just want video games to be games, no more, no less. And if you want to support me further, I do now have channel memberships where you can get a cool badge beside your name and custom emoji like these. Oh my goodness, this is the best bit of the game that have been anticipating being able to show off, right? It was this moment when I was playing the original, when I first picked up this, that the fun factor just skyrocketed. I love this thing. I think it looks so darn cool, and now I can admire it in photo mode. But even back in the day, right? Even back in the day when I would look at the end of this, I thought you could tell it was a paper cutout. It just really broke the immersion a little bit when otherwise the game looked so good. Whereas check out this moment. 3, 2, 1. Oh my goodness, talk about things coming to life. They respected the original vision so bad. It looks fan-freaking-tastic. Look at that detail. You you had a feather before. You had a flat piece of paper feather before. Whereas now it's actually modeled and the texture is believable. It looks fantastic. Let's do some really cool kills, right? Okay, so this feature, ever since I was younger, I loved. So when you aim, it automatically aims towards them. Now, fans of the series, you know what's going to happen. The satisfaction. Let's do it. Oh, the sound, the fact it took him down in one turn. Oh, exactly as you remember. Exactly as you remember. Let's do an impalement, right? Let's do an impalement. Oh, it's seeing that with the shadow as well. Because it mimics you perfectly. Because it's an actual shadow. They're not faking it. Oh. Oh. Yes, I wanted to capture that moment. Look at this epic showdown. And again, the detail. That just looked like a blob before. It was nothing. And yet you can tell it's bandaged. And there's spikes there. Oh, the particles still look fantastic. And of course, seeing the shadows behave the way they should. There's a number of camera options as well. So you have roll. So you do the angle. You have field of view. So if you want to get really close, or if you want to zoom out and get some really cinematic shots, which I'll be honest, I've spent so much time here just stretching that out. It's like the camera is sitting on the end of the weapon. Oh, perfect. Perfect. I absolutely love that. You can add the vignette, you know, if you want it darker. Unfortunately, there is no brightness setting in the game settings. I expected there to be a brightness setting. I'm really surprised it's not there, but look at this. We can appreciate this so much. It was just such a mess. Such a mess. They had to look at this and then create this. It's a complete re-envisioning, letting us know what the enemies were meant to look like to begin with. But let's impale our friend here. Let's impale our friend. Oh, there it is. One of the coolest things you could ever do in video game history was just impale. How cool does that look? Still, even to this day, the way the eyes glow, that's gone right through him. Or you can change it to see the modern version. It's just so darn good. This game runs very well. I'm very happy with this camera mode. It just looks so smooth. I haven't had to do anything. And the camera mode as well lets you really zoom out. Like, check this out. You can you can break the game and zoom out so much that it's not even rendering what's going on anymore. So as a fan of this game and being able to toggle so effortlessly, like it really is impressive. And you can get some really nice angles. Like, let's go here. That looks sick. Look at that. Look at that. That looks amazing. I wonder what his perspective is like. Like, he's looking down at Raziel, right? So from Raziel's point of view, this is what oh my goodness, that's terrifying. Alright, so this is what Raziel can see. Alright, so Eve, that looks really scary. But how does it look like from his perspective? Because we can do that. We have unprecedented control, because obviously we couldn't do this before. We can even clip through the mesh. Alright, so this is what he sees. This is what he sees. Just Raziel holding him up. But that does look sick. That honestly does look sick. And I'm obsessed with the shadows. Obsessed. It just does what you want and what you expect. He's always has such a cool character design. I can't get over this. Just it just looks so freaking sick. And just toggle, 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 toggle. It's so effortless, like it works so well. Special effects have been altered to a minimum, so this fire is so similar to the original source. And that's totally okay, but look at this grounding. So that rock there and Raziel look like they're just floating in midair. Nothing's really happening. But then when you toggle, everything becomes grounded so much. And look, let's put the shadow of what I'm holding onto the rock as well. Oh, see? You can't tell me that this looks better where nothing's happening. And look, you can prefer the original, don't get me wrong. That's always going to be a special place in my heart. But I'm just appreciating grabbing a game that I already know is fantastic and already love, and to be able to just toggle and appreciate. Oh my goodness. Oh my, it really pops out to you. See, he's even self-shadowing. You don't really even see that much in modern games that much, to be honest. He's self-shadowing over the rock, over himself, and just, it's so darn good. You can get so close. There is no limit. Like, I am inside his body now. There is no limit, and I love it. I love it because you can do this as much as you want. You can see things as well. That's what I like about camera modes, right? You can see things you were never meant to see. Look at this. You were never meant to see this bird this close. It's meant to always be a thing at a distance. He's a weird paper mache. You know, he looks like something that you got out of a Kinder Surprise and you put it together, and yet you can go right up to it. And even this thing that you're going to see at such a distance, even that has a lot more attention and quality than you would expect. I cannot wait to experience everything that this game has to offer and be able to do that, and then explore everything and appreciate everything in a way we've never been able to do before. I'm just really happy. I'm just really happy. I mean, I just did my Ubisoft video where I basically said goodbye Ubisoft. I'll miss your memories, but you're no longer the Ubisoft that cares about gamers. I hope you make a return, but if you close, it's your own fault. It's a bit bittersweet to have just done a video like that, and then the next moment, the very next day, be able to download a game which I love, a bundle which has both games as well. It just gives you hope. Boop. It just gives you hope. That's funny, I actually had no idea that you could sneak up on enemies before, because as a kid I didn't read the darn instructions, did I? What? Just, oh man. Man, just, it's like, oh, hello. Let's have a look at these up close, because we can just, the sense of control that photo modes give is wonderful. It just looks so cool. I'm loving the free roaming camera, just letting me admire things so much better. But what's interesting, because you have the old game here, is see at the moment how it's behind me and the camera's moving. The game still by default follows the player around. So if you want to move and move the camera, you can do that. If you only want to move the joystick and have the camera take care of everything for you, you can do it. You can do it. Oh, here we are. We have another battle. Huh. So cool. Boop. It's so cool. I feel like a kid. It just makes me so happy. It makes me so happy.
Dude, it's so instant.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's very cool.
It really is a darn shame that you can't share pictures on YouTube. Like, I would love to, in the comment section below, tell all the Soul Reaver fans, hey, share your best photos, right? We could make a collaboration. We can make a collection of all the amazing screenshots of players that get further along. Wow, the colors really do hold up. I know there's texture improvements and so forth, but this was still here all that time ago. That looks beautiful. That's the original. Now I toggle the renew. So even the original looked as stunning as you remember. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. This isn't a review, this was just me fanboying that I think this game looks and runs fantastic. It's everything I hoped it can be. I'm obviously at the very start of the game, but man, it holds up. I mean, look, as I said, as I toggle, it still looks fantastic. It still has all the visual effects that you're familiar with. Toggle is flawless. Loving the camera mode. Just look at this. I'm going down here. That shouldn't be possible, and yet it is. And I showed you with the enemies before, they've gone from a blurry mess to just looking fantastic, and even this one weapon. So that's it. I'm happy. Let me know how happy you are down below. God bless. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.